Hi guys, Kristen Brown here, and I'm at Bellator 59 with Bjorn Rebney. How are we doing tonight, Bjorn?
I'm good.
Good?
1:30. I'm still rocking and rolling.
It's 1:30 in the morning, and it's way past my bedtime, so I'm sorry if I'm a little off. But
That's just life.
great night of fights. So tell me a little bit how you feel about the fights.
It was an odd and unusual night. Wasn't crazy about the no contest at the end. That's never the way you want to finish, but it is what it is, and guys get hurt, and Eric's hurt, and I'm hoping that he's not badly hurt. You know, we'll learn more about that as the days go on. I thought, Patricky Pitbull looked dramatic and explosive, and I thought Eduardo Dantas looked good in kind of a grind-out victory over Alexis Vila.
Can we go back to the Patricky Pitbull fight?
Sure.
So, I mean, he's phenomenal. His knockout of Toby Amata, that final knee that he's had was like one of my favorites ever. But do you think that fight was called a little too early?
I'm never hesitant to say that I think a referee called a fight too late, because that's very obvious, and you can see that with your eyes, because you can see the blows raining down, and that's always something that frightens me. When Patricky Pitbull fought Razor Rob McCullough, Razor Rob was out of commission for 5 months after the fight because of the injuries he sustained at the hands of Patricky Pitbull.
Really?
Yeah. Then he fought Toby Amata, and Toby Amata, who had never been knocked out, had fought the likes of Jake Shields and many other top competitors, had never been knocked out, and Toby ended up in the emergency room at the hospital for 7 hours. So when I look at the totality of what Patricky Pitbull has done with his hands and his knees, as much as I like Kurt Pellegrino, I would prefer that a referee erred on the side of stopping a fight early with a guy as powerful and explosive with his hands and his feet and his knees as Patricky Pitbull is. I'll watch the fight on Monday when I get back to the office. I'll have a better opportunity to kind of gauge whether I think there was an early stoppage. Kurt's got a huge heart and has made his name in the game for having an amazingly big heart. So I don't know. I always like to look at those things in a couple days when there's no emotion and there's no fans and there's no noise, and you could turn off the sound on the TV and just watch it and say to yourself, okay, if I was standing there and it was complete quiet and I could make a decision, what would I do? Right. But Patricky's a dangerous guy.
The thing about him is that he's a Nogueira, black belt, yet he's such a powerful striker.
Yeah, yeah, it's an amazing combination. You put a little bit more wrestling know-how behind Patricky Pitbull, and he'll be a handful for everybody in the world. Yeah.
And he's so young, so he's got so much potential.
Oh, he's got amazing potential.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Special and a great kid. So.
Yeah. Oh, I just talked to him. He's showing me a shirt of his daughter, and he seems like such a sweet guy too. Just somebody that you want to watch fight.
Yep.
But yet you're here in Jersey, and you want Kurt to win.
What would like to do?
Well, I never really want anybody to win. I want them to get to put on a great performance, to give everything they've got, to look to finish the fight and get out safe and healthy. And if all of that can happen, it's the best of all possible worlds for me. So I never find myself rooting for or against anybody. I just hope they put on a great performance and leave everything in the cage and get out and are able to walk out and hang out with their buddies and have a beer after the fight. When they get into the cage, I think it makes my life easier, and it's a better position to have to just say whoever's going to win is going to win.
Let's talk about Alvarez. That fight was phenomenal.
Spectacular.
That fight was fight of the year. You're saying. I mean, it was unbelievable. The fact that he got out of the first 2 minutes. Yeah. That the ref didn't stop it was unbelievable.
Yep.
That was amazing. So does he now have stock in Bellator? That's what I read, or what's going on?
He doesn't, but if there was ever a guy that's been fighting for an organization who probably deserves it, it's Ed. Okay. He's he's been with us from the very beginning. He took a chance. We cut a deal with his manager at the time, Monty Cox, and we took a big chance on Ed in terms of what we were doing from an economic perspective at the time, and it was absolutely money well spent. Class guy, great representative for the game, terrific fighter, never has a boring fight.
Absolutely.
So we're lucky.
And he always gets punched, gets dropped, and then comes back, and it didn't happen in this fight.
Yep.
But I guess one of the questions that I asked during the press conference was, what's going to happen with the rematch?
We don't do, like other organizations, we don't do rematches. So I don't have the pleasure or the Which is good. I mean, it falls into our philosophy. Our philosophy is where title shots are earned, they're not given. So I've always felt very comfortable that it wasn't kind of my position to say, I thought that was great, let's do that again.
Right.
It's up to the fighters, much like, you know, if you have a great game in the NBA and it's the 7th game of a 7-game series, one team's going to lose, it's 100% right. Somebody's got to come back and win the whole next season and get to the playoffs to challenge that team that just won. So, you know, whether you're a Mavericks fan or a Miami fan, you know, it's going to...
Or a Knicks fan.
Or a Knicks fan, where things are looking up. But, you know, it's just, that's the nature of it. So we'll talk with Ed and we'll figure it out. He knows the game as well as anybody. Ed is one of the few fighters that I know that can probably do my job. So we'll put our heads together and figure out what he wants to do and we'll make it work.
But people want to see that. I mean, that was the one time that submission, you know, where you got that.
Yep. People will absolutely want to see it, and you know the essence of it is I still think Ed is one of the best in the world. I think there was an amazing fight, and we'll see what happens. I mean, if Ed wants another shot at Chandler, it's going to have to come vis-a-vis a tournament win. But he's done it once. Yeah, he's done it once. There's no reason he can't do it again. So. He would go in as a prohibitive favorite in any tournament he entered. So, you know, and Ed's got a funny way about him when he finds out who the referee is on every fight he's going to have, he walks up to him with all seriousness and says, look, there's a high likelihood I'm going to end up on my butt early in this fight, but please do me a favor, don't stop it. And it happened. It happened with Greg Lawford, it happened with Roger Huerta, it happened. Yeah, I mean, he always seems to get caught, and then he's got an amazing heart, and he comes back and finishes fights. So, didn't happen this time, but can't wait to see him fight for us again.
And now, so 2012 is the next tournament. 2013, you guys, Viacom just brought you guys. So you're going to be on Spike?
Yep, we will be on Spike. We transitioned to Spike. Obviously, it'll give us a bigger universe. It was 100 million homes. It'll all be HD and Spike. I mean, they wrote the book on mixed martial arts. They are the ones who really are responsible for crossing over a general market fan-based MMA from a television perspective. They promote it, market it, advertise it, cross-pollinate it across all the entertainment networks better than anybody. So they're just, I mean, in my mind, they're the greatest partner you could hope to have from a television perspective. I mean, they wrote the book on TV in mixed martial arts. You ask 100 MMA fans, where do you watch your MMA? And they go, Spike. So, you know,
people don't want to pay.
That's right. They want to watch great fights for free, and that's part and parcel of the dynamic that we have with Spike. Is that we'll be doing 25 to 30 live free events per year. So for more than half the year, you'll be able to tune in and watch Spike Network and watch Bellator. So it's absolutely an ideal alliance for us.
Are you planning on keeping it Saturdays, or are you going to go to a different day?
It remains to be seen. Okay. You know, there's no. I mean, I think one of the things you try to do in this, or one of the things that I've always tried to do, is not put any kind of a line in the sand.
Okay.
You know, I mean, entertainment television is a constantly evolving process. And I think you get yourself into a lot of trouble when you say, we're going to do this. Consumers are going to dictate what you're going to do. So if there's a better night when we can reach more people and have more people have the opportunity to watch Bellator, we'll do that.
Because I have to tell you, I'm on the Underground. I don't know if you know the Underground.
Yeah.
And there's so many threads all the time that say, Bellator should be on Friday, Bellator should be on Friday.
Right.
Just because it competes with UFC, and people watch Bellator, obviously,
sure.
But everybody, you know, DVRs it, and if Bellator had its own night on Friday, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a great argument to be made for that, and that's one of the beauties of our relationship with Spike, Viacom and MTV Networks. We sit down with them and we talk through it, and like I said, there's no wrong answer. Wherever we're going to be able to reach the largest group of mixed martial arts fans, with the most consistency is where we'll go. And if that means Wednesday night or Thursday night or Friday night, that's where we'll move to.
Because Bellator needs to be its own, you know, just like a Friday night, its own thing. Because I think it's amazing, like what you guys do with the whole tournament thing. And what was your idea, your reason for doing the tournament?
You know, I mean, it was just, I'm a pure sports fan, pure sports guy, and it was one of those situations where I can remember sitting with my dad when I was a kid, and we used to watch boxing, and you know, boxing and a lot of MMA are the only sports that are controlled by a concept called matchmaking, a floaty concept which is theatrical in nature, where a guy in a shiny suit sits behind a desk and decides who fights who for what and when. You know what I mean? And if you tried to introduce that concept into professional basketball or baseball or football or soccer or golf or tennis or hockey or cricket or any other sport, people would laugh you hysterically out of the room. That somehow a president or a chairman or a decision maker should decide who gets to challenge for the championship. And it always seemed just counterintuitive to me that somebody should have that kind of power. You should put the best you can possibly put into a tournament, into a weight class, and they should fight it out. And whether they've got really cool hair or beautiful white teeth or they're married to a supermodel or whatever should have no impact whatsoever, or what kind of ratings they will or won't draw.
Ben Askren hair?
Ben Askren hair, funky Ben Askren hair. All that should matter is who's the best and who wins. You know, in the NFL, some seasons the Giants win, and it's the biggest TV market in the country, and the guys at NFL properties go, oh, this is awesome, our ratings are huge, and the Giants won, and that's really bitching for us. And the next season, the Indianapolis Colts win. It's a little teeny market, and it has a little teeny fan base, but they win because they're the best.
Because they're good.
That's it. And that should be, from my mind, and it doesn't mean that I'm right, it just means that I feel strongly about it, is that in my mind, the best, that you should actually earn that title shot. It shouldn't be given to you.
That's a great motto.
It seems simple to me, but you know, I mean, it's what makes us different. You know, and I watch UFC events. I buy their pay-per-views. I like a lot of their product, a lot of what they do. But it just,
you do?
Yeah, sure.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you like in the UFC?
I mean, John Jones is a phenom and a freak, and I'm a big fan. And I mean, it just, you know, I like a lot of this. You know, I mean, they've got some amazing.
Did you watch? Okay, so did you watch the Shogun fight?
Yeah, sure.
Even though it was on the same night as your.
Yeah. Well, my son was watching it and got it for me, and then I watched it as soon as I got home.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
That's funny, because it was like the best fight of the century and the best fight of the year. And
yeah, I mean, I thought it was a very good fight. I thought it was a good fight. It was very exciting. It had you know, it was a very exciting fight. I thought that the Ed fight against Mike was a better fight, but I thought it was a great fight.
That's such a good, that's a huge argument right now. Such a huge debate. Which fight was better?
You know what?
Because one was like a brawl,
yeah,
and one was more technical.
Yeah, I think. And I mean, our fight was more technical, and there were very, very few lapses in time between moments of great combat between the two participants, and there were longer moments of time in the Hendo fight. But look, that was a great fight, and ours was a great fight.
And it was also between two legends.
Yeah.
So you have to go with that.
Yeah, you have to give that some credibility, and then you have to consider, you know, the magic of the two fights is they were both great. They were both wildly exciting. People responded to both of them. And as MMA fans, we're just lucky that they both happened. And
it's an amazing time to be a fan. It's an amazing time to be a fan of the sport right now.
I'll say.
And you know, I'm a fan. I'm in this business right now. And it's just amazing to be a fan of the sport. You have the UFC. You have Bellator, which I hope that people are watching more and realizing that you have such fights, and they're free right now. You don't have to pay $50,
yeah.
You know, and the fights are amazing, and these guys are fighting their hearts out every week.
Part of the game, you know. It's you know, it's a good position to be in. It's a different model. Doesn't mean that their model is wrong.
No,
it's just a different model, and we've been very fortunate. We've had some great fights, so, and they're going to keep coming.
And tonight was a great night. So
it was an all right night.
Yeah.
I don't know if I qualified as great, but it had its moments.
It did. It did. I'm a little sad about Kurt Pellerino, but just because I know I am. But Patricky did amazing.
Yeah, because.
So thank you for talking to me.
My pleasure.
Kristen Brown, Bjorn Rebney. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Pleasure. Sorry to keep you.
No problem.
Thank you.